Hi, Shakhar Pelled, freelance translator since 1985, sharing with you some insights about the industry, the art, and the profession. And today I'd like to talk some more on this issue of the context in which a translation is taking place when the client, an agency, when you're working with an agency using a CAT tool, and many of the larger agencies, which are the better providers of more work, now insist on CAT tools for everything. And you have to be quite confident to argue that certain texts are not conducive to CAT tools. And sometimes they just insist, so you have to work in the CAT tool. And I want to talk about this mindset what happens when you get the QA report. Because after you've done all your matches and you send the bilingual file, they put it through additional machines that don't always speak the language of humans because they're machines, and they sort of like they're like a sort of template placed over your translation, and like a cookie cutter thing. And what does it mean? They place it on you, and wherever you diverge from the cookie shape, they just cut you. So they give you you have many. I'm not talking about the false positives and the false keywords, but let's just speak about the keywords. So someone has decided that the keyword, that the proper translation, the consistent translation for, I don't know, printer is such and such. So you can't change that. Moreover, even if you use sometimes in context, if you like write printer-wise, for example. I don't know in what context this could occur, but say you sort of think up a sort of neologism and you write printer-wise, this will not go through. The machine will find this neologism, this creative idea, and it will say, we don't have printer-wise. This is an error, and will bring up an error, and you will have to justify yourself to the company why you chose that kind of translation. And I'm not even talking about all the places where you get like false positives. It finds an error where it's not an error. It's just a construction, a different construction of the language. And of course, keywords mean that you will always translate the same thing. For example, printers have this extender, okay? So this extender is a support for pages. It also extends, it as a tool extends. So as a translator, you have to think, how are you going to translate this? As something capable of extension, like extender? Or are you going to focus more on its function, that it supports pages and is collapsible according to the size of the page, that you can fit it to the exact page? Different concepts, but someone has already thought up a keyword, so the concept has no meaning, because you will get a QA that says it is wrong, because the QA is also done by a machine, not by a proofreader who will read your translation and think, okay, great, this brings the meaning through, or will say, no, I don't agree with this translation because I think a different meaning should have been brought through, which is okay, it's great. You can get some really fantastic translations just by having this back and forth with a human proofreader. But the machine has a cookie cutter, so it cuts you off. It cuts off your innovation, your ability to change, your ability to create a better translation. So ultimately, in the social context, in the business context of working as a freelance, you don't want to start arguing with your client about the finer points of the art. You want to deliver a work that they will say, okay, this is good, and they can justify to their clients, we use that database, we adhere to the Microsoft terminology.